well, and the world stays an interesting place. So, one of the things that's come up that it's so funny that this guy keeps doing this. George Papadopoulos drops a tweet. He drops a tweet about $150 billion not going to Ukraine by Joe Biden because they won't drop the investigation into his son and him. By the end of the night, Alexander Mercouris, I believe, from the Duran, drops the thing of Russia has confirmed the story that I then, in looking up, goes back to 2019. Peace talks between Ukraine, Russia, facilitated by Macron and Merkel. So, and so some of you have been telling me about a variety of ties that France and Russia have had ever since, I think, maybe the Soviet era or just after World War II, that have become like major financial and corporate like ties, like companies that they have, supply lines, and they source from each other or sell to each other's markets or something like that. So there's that. Then, and then of course there's Nord Stream 2, which Germany needs from Russia. And to a great extent, this is one of these things of like, this is either a deal during peace or a conquered utility during war. And when you look at the events over the last few years in Germany and Europe and everything, they don't have the warriors. Russia has its own problems, but Ukraine and the EU cannot come up with the bodies. They can't come up with the bodies, and nothing's working out the way that apparently all these people wanted. I think a big part of this, okay, when I started looking this up, another story caught my eye, that the Natanz, the Natanz facility hack. So what the word is that's all around is that it was the Mossad that hacked Natanz. And then I hear one of the key scientists who worked at Natanz was visiting a gorge and fell in it. I think Tim will find all this interesting. So it goes in this order. Story 1, man falls in gorge. Iranian nuclear scientist. Injures himself badly. Works at Natanz. Shortly thereafter, Natanz gets hacked. Almost within the same week, it is confirmed that Ukraine will get into peace talks with Russia, almost ensuring that investigations into the Bidens will continue. And they won't be getting money from us. They have France and Germany in the same photo with Russia and them. I think they could come up with that 150 billion. I think just not having to spend money on military stuff is going to save them a fortune. When they don't have to defend themselves from the overwhelming military power of Russia. And also, I'm figuring that when really a lot of these intelligence services and propagandists are looking at it, they're like, we cannot have a war. There is nobody to fight it. No matter what, this is not a generation that can fight a war. That's it. Period. Small ones, but it's just what what Ukraine versus Russia would become in size, nobody can withstand that other than Russia. And so that's it. That's why now the peace talks will happen as they are scheduled to. And the Biden administration lost this one as well. Fundamentally, the Biden administration has taken some serious L's, and these L's are coming in a way that you have to have thought. Different parts of the world were starting to agree to a concept of regional power and nationalism. And so now that's what it's looking like is happening. That Europe is basically taking Ukraine as its own problem and kicking us the fuck out because Biden can't handle it. And this is going to be very interesting to see how this turns out. I'm absolutely fascinated by this. But the fact that when Papadopoulos dropped that tweet about the 150 billion, that then made this make a lot more sense, because there was not only that, but then this idea that it's, it's that thing. I'm sure Tim will confirm, that's a little too coincidental that this guy falls down a gorge and then the facility he works in gets hacked and all this. That's a bit coincidental. And so that's why I'm thinking that we are going to see something else. There's something else either is happening and I'm not aware of it. So I've got to look up to see what's going on with Turkey and Erdogan. Something else is moving. Another piece is moving, because it looks like the JSCPOA is dead. It looks like it's not going to happen. There's no way it's going to happen. It's over. We gave everybody money, and it's looking like that's not going to be that it's not enough. That's not gangster. So the next thing that hit me is was a New York Post microchip to be put under the skin that could detect. And the way that this person is like shining everybody on about how okay this is, that, it detects if there's chemical reactions going on in your body, telling you that you might da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, this is a microchip that detects T-cell concentration, because that's your defensive, the white blood cells. It's detecting if your white blood cell count rises a lot, which is why you would need that. Who knows? But the key thing about this is, again, Cyberpunk 2020, Mike Pondsmith called it. It's called the Biomonitor. And the cheapest Biomonitor tells you if you've been poisoned or not. If there's like poison in the atmosphere, gas or some type of neurotoxin, or if somebody poisoned you, or if you're bleeding internally, it'll also give you a thing that your blood pressure is dropping, something like that. Like cheapest Biomonitor was that in the earliest iteration of the game. So this is fundamentally a Biomonitor, and it's going to be interesting to see how people adapt to this, because in Cyberpunk this was a vanity item. This is something that you get as a vanity item that maybe is useful, but it's mostly a vanity item. And it's looking like that's how the slavery of the new era will be sold to people. Medical slavery is by selling them. Medical slavery is vanity. And I'm very, women will buy it. If you lie to women and you give it the right price tag, they'll buy it. So, there's a part of my mind that's like, interesting strategy, DARPA and CIA. And the way that the way this article, the way this guy talks it up, like it's cool, dude. It's all right. It's cool. It does make sense if you were a soldier in a area where there's nerve gas or neurotoxin being used as a weapon, or DPU rounds, and there's a high concentration of radiation, as depleted uranium will do. That I kind of get, but it's a pretty weird idea that's going to help you from the common cold. But they got to fund it somehow, just like they're funding this experimental generation of inoculations on everybody. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. Later.